This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, a spotlight on sexual harassment as enough is enough. Good food raises much needed funds for a good cause. And a playground fun at an all-time high as park equipment is upgraded. Very good evening, I'm Craig Story. Rape Crisis Dunedin is blowing the whistle on the ongoing harassment of local young women. Staff say wolf whistling and other forms of harassment are a constant hassle for female residents, and they say enough is enough.
Wolf whistling, yelling and other unwanted forms of attention are a way of life for many local women. And Rape Crisis Dunedin staff say that's not good enough. They're putting their feet down, saying the constant incidents they hear about need to stop.
It's every day, definitely, and it happens to all people, and it's not necessarily targeted at any one individual or any one circumstance. It could be someone just walking down the street in trackies going shopping.
Hayden says the organisation hears from many young women scared for their safety. It goes beyond verbal harassment too, with people rubbing up against others another major problem. Hayden says women deal with that behaviour in crowds and in clubs, and many even prepare themselves before going out in the street.
If they want to go out socialising or go to, a bar or a club and have some fun and go out and enjoy themselves, they actually have to mentally and sometimes even physically prepare themselves for getting some sort of harassment.
Rape Crisis Dunedin staff say most incidents of harassment go unreported. They want to start a conversation to change that, so inappropriate behaviour is acknowledged, and the organisation's offering help to whoever needs it.
It's also important to be supportive to other people, so when someone tells you or confides in you that this has happened to them, take them seriously. There are other community groups that are able to help too, but we're definitely always available 24 hours.
Hayden says many women she works with think harassment is a way of life, but she's hoping to change that mindset and bring about a culture shift in Dunedin. David DeLorean, 39 Dunedin News.
Police are investigating the theft of a 70-kilogram generator from the Caversham Highway construction site. The petrol generator was stolen from a padlocked container on site at Lookout Point. Police say it appears bolt cutters were used to gain access to the equipment. It is not known exactly when the generator was stolen, as contractors last viewed it more than a week ago. It's the size of 2 suitcases, and police say it could have been lifted by a single person, but they suspect more than one person was involved in the crime. Homemade food for sale in Dunedin is helping the people of a disaster-stricken nation half a world away. Members of the local Myanmar community are raising money for those affected by devastating floods in their home country, and that's got them cooking up some tasty treats.
A cultural spin on the traditional bake sale. Members of Dunedin's Myanmar community are selling noodle soup and cupcakes to raise money for disaster relief. In the last month, Myanmar's been ravaged by monsoonal flooding, leaving hundreds of thousands of people displaced, prompting university fellow and Myanmar native Tin Lin Ong to spearhead this fundraiser.
The situation in Myanmar is obviously really bad. So as of last Friday, more than 1.3 million already affected by this disaster. So we got to get together and do something for our country.
The government's donating $500,000 to the relief effort, but Ong says much more is needed and he's committed to raising funds and awareness in Dunedin.
The local community, especially the people of Dunedin and people of university, are good global citizens. So they're very generous in supporting this cause, and so we just started this fundraising, but I'm sure in a few minutes' time there will be a long queue here.
There's just a handful of people within the local Myanmar community, but Ong says they rally together in times of need to support their home country. and raise international awareness about the plight of Myanmar residents.
The flag wedding, they have no means of supporting themselves. So even very small, little contribution make big significant difference to these flag weddings in Myanmar. 12
of Myanmar's 14 states are affected by widespread flooding. Ong's relatives are safe, but he says that's no excuse for complacency, a message he hopes many other Dunedin residents heed. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Police are appealing to a woman to come forward after witnessing a weekend assault. It happened in the early hours of Sunday morning outside a George Street address. The police say a female tertiary student was assaulted and knocked to the ground by a male student. The incident occurred around 1:30 a.m. near Dundas Street. Officers say the victim and the assailant are known to one another. They believe a woman witnessed the attack and want to hear from her or anyone else with information about the incident. And more than $80,000 is being spent on the replacement of ageing playground equipment. It's part of the City Council's maintenance program for parks and reserves, and it means local children will have new gear to test out this summer.
Public playgrounds are dotted around Dunedin, maintained by the City Council and its contractors. They've identified a range of dilapidated play equipment at 7 different sites, and work's underway to replace it.
We've got quite a lot of older equipment in a lot of our playgrounds, and it has been there for a long time, but some of it is coming to its end of its useful life, and so we've been working on identifying which play pieces to replace.
The total cost, $79,000 plus GST. That covers the replacement of 5 slides as well as 2 roundabouts. Work's being done to playgrounds in Mosgiel, City Rise, Abbotsford, Musselburgh, Brockville and Carlton Hill, and more is likely to follow.
We have contractors that go to playgrounds either weekly or monthly, depending on the usage, but every 3 to 4 years we also do get a safety audit done, and we use that information to essentially help advise us which playgrounds we should be looking at replacing the equipment.
Work's timed to ensure all new equipment's in place before school finishes for the year, with peak playground use over summer.
Time frame is looking for the next sort of 4 weeks. Contractor has already made a start on some of the playgrounds, the ones in Mosgiel, and we're looking, subject to weather, the work being completed over the next 4 weeks.
Black says while contractors regularly assess playground equipment to ensure it's in safe working order, the council welcomes public feedback about its parks and reserves.
We do encourage customers and the general public to advise us if there are any issues that have arisen.
All to keep children safe and happy while making the most of the city's free public assets. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
And still to come on 39 Dunedin News, an Australian company has envious eyes for a local success story, and more support is established for breastfeeding mothers.
Oh, a lifestyler can be anybody. We look at a lifestyler as someone who perhaps has been a farmer and is retiring into a smaller block. It could be someone who's working here in Dunedin and has a few acres at home. It could be mum and the kids with the pony on an acre. You know, it's anyone that's got a little bit of land rather than just the quarter-acre section.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Discover New Zealand's most innovative museum, Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. 14 stunning galleries, 3 distinct architectural styles, and 1 million intriguing stories are yours to discover at Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. Open daily next to Dunedin Railway Station and with free admission. Toitu Otago Settlers Museum.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
It has no arms, no legs, has a drill in its mouth up to 8 hours a day and still never complains. It's one of 72 mannequin torsos in our new $3.8 million dental simulation lab, the first and only facility of its kind in New Zealand. My name is Nikki Rose Coltolaro, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Hi, I'm Mike Kernahan, Chief Executive of the Cancer Society, Otago and Southland Division. On 28th of August, we celebrate 25 years of Daffodil Day. Daffodil Day helps us provide care, comfort and hope to people who have a cancer diagnosis and their families. It helps us run health promotion programs so there might be less cancer in the future, and it funds vital cancer research. So please give generously this Daffodil Day. Text HOPE to 469 to donate $3 or visit daffodilday.org.nz and help us make this Daffodil Day the biggest and best yet.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
And welcome back. Scott Technology shareholders are being asked to vote on a proposed investment scheme. The Dunedin-based company has received an investment offer from JBS Australia. It's for a placement of 10 million shares at $1.39 per share. JBS Australia is also offering to purchase shares at that price from any shareholder wanting to opt out or reduce their involvement. It's looking to take over roughly half of Scott Technology's shares. The umbrella company JBS is the largest animal protein processor in the world. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. Oh dear, it's a red arrow day today. Everybody down across all of the markets, including a very significant fall across the FTSE, the Jones and the Nikkei, which is its 8th day in tumble. And look at that, green arrows all to the sky. It's a good day for currency across all of the notes which we observe, particularly the yen, and a fairly strong day for the Australian-New Zealand exchange as well. A new website has just been developed to help mothers who are breastfeeding. It's a joint initiative between the Primary Health Organisation and the local breastfeeding support group. And Sophie Cutty from Well South is here to tell us more. Very good evening and welcome, and thank you for coming in.
Thanks,
what is this new website?
So the new website is www.breastfeedingsos.co.nz, and it's a website for families and health professionals to find information on breastfeeding, and also to find local volunteers who are trained to provide information on the normal course of breastfeeding, and also to provide support on common problems that mothers sometimes have with breastfeeding.
Okay, so new mums need help. What sort of help do they usually ask for?
It really depends on the mother. So that's why the breastfeeding peer support program is really good, because the peer supporters provide tailored, individualised advice. But some of the common problems include pain, and breastfeeding should never be painful, so seek help if it is. How to latch the baby on properly, and also issues with returning to work. So there's all sorts of things that sometimes crop up.
Lots of questions for lots of mums.
Yeah.
And you have how many peer support?
So there's 121 peer supporters trained in Otago and Southland, and we have 23 active peer supporters who are volunteering in the community. Some peer supporters just choose to use their knowledge with kind of their local networks, and we have 13 peer supporters who are on the website, as not everyone wanted to be on it.
Okay. Do you need more help? Do you need more people to participate in peer
Absolutely, yep. The program's been running since 2012 and we've just been training more and more peer supporters as we can. So.
What are the main challenges for breastfeeding mums? I know you've come across the usual things, but is there a larger group of problems that they're facing?
Probably mainly the ones I mentioned before about pain with breastfeeding, or low milk supply is another common barrier for some mums, and breastfeeding peer supporters are trained to help mothers overcome those sorts of things, and returning to work can often influence a mother's decision on whether to breastfeed or not.
What about other information is available on the website?
We've got heaps of information, so we've got videos and extra information sheets on topics on how to get a good latch, so positioning while you're breastfeeding, how to express breast milk using your hand or through a machine. There's information on breastfeeding and medication, some information on postnatal depression, information on skin to skin, and there's also information on for dads and partners and their role in the breastfeeding.
Yeah, because we need to be involved too, don't we?
Definitely, and sometimes dads and partners can sometimes feel a little bit left out, so there's some good resources there on how dads and partners can help.
So I feel a bit foolish asking this question, but why is breastfeeding advocated?
So it's advocated mainly to protect the health of mother and baby, because with artificial feeding, the risk of chronic illnesses and acute illnesses as well increase, and there's an increased risk of some mental health issues too with artificial feeding.
Okay. Well, we're very much, breastfeeding is very much in the public eye now. We're discussing it. We're seeing that there are problems with breastfeeding in public. Is there this sort of information available to assist your mums on the website?
Yes, yep. There are like breastfeeding friendly public places where mums can go and feel welcome. So yeah, we try to give them lots of information on support.
Right. Sophie Carty, thank you so very much for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
Thank you. After the break on 39 Dunedin News, plastic bags may not be part of our sustainable future, and we will scan the skies for the weather.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
Moving around the corner, overseas, Best Removals Otago Limited, specialists in household removals and business relocations, as well as packing materials, secure storage. Best Removals can do it all. 0800 266 834.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
For 30 years, Southern Clams have harvested New Zealand littleneck clams in the coastal waters of Otago. Hand harvesting to order at the right place and time ensures perfection of every clam you eat. New Zealand littleneck clams, harvested for you by Southern Clams.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
A lifestyler to me is a person maybe wanting to escape the hustle and bustle of a big city, wanting some animals, maybe able to grow their own veggies, have chickens, get their own hens. A lifestyle block can be your supermarket, just a good way of living, and a lot of people enjoy that rather than being in a city. A very sustainable way to live.
Welcome back. Otago University students are making an effort to ban plastic bags as part of a sustainability campaign. The campus has been given a facelift to highlight the environmental impact of plastic, and students hope their efforts will create some lifelong habits.
Saving the environment, one picture at a time. Otago Young Greens beautify campus to get people thinking about their use of plastic bags. It's part of the OUSA's Sustainability Week, and these ecological advocates hope to spread some lasting messages while promoting reusable shopping bags as an easy way to help the environment.
Plastic bags, they are harmful for marine life, so dolphins, whales, things like that, and they also use a lot of carbon to make, so yeah, using a reusable bag can make quite a big difference.
Payne Harker says plastic bags can take up to 1,000 years to degrade, and they're clogging landfills. She says there's strong support in the student sector for cutting down on plastic use, and this campaign helps.
It's a good way for them to, have to get a reusable bag without having to go out of their way to do it.
Elsewhere on campus, another campaign's running, calling on scarfies to cut down on plastic use. The OUSA's welfare officer, Pael Ramritus, spearheaded this year's Sustainability Week, and she's highlighting the benefits of reusable bags too.
So Better Bag It was an idea I've had pretty much all year, and now is a good time to launch it because it's Sustainability Week. Pretty much it's incentivising people to use reusable bags, and it does this by offering vouchers as a prize.
A workshop's been held, getting scarfies to make their own reusable bags. Ramritu says it's been well received, and she hopes her efforts will help tackle a growing problem. David DeLorean, 39, Dunedin News.
A new editor has been appointed at the Otago Daily Times following the departure of Murray Kirkness. Former Deputy Editor Barry Stewart has stepped into the role, and he joins us to discuss plans for the publications. Very good evening to you, Barry. Congratulations.
Hello, thank you very much. Yes.
All right. So where do you see, now that you're editor, the ODT being over the next 5 years?
Right. The ODT is well placed in its in the marketplace. It has been acknowledged in the industry. Just last week we were announced a finalist in Newspaper of the Year. At Pampa earlier in the year we were a finalist for Newspaper of the Year at the Cannon Awards, so we're doing something pretty well.
Indeed.
The challenge of course is to retain that support and to grow in our marketplace. To retain the confidence of our readers is a prime target, of course, and that's some of the challenges. The changing media environment, of course, is presenting challenges for all of us, and we have to position ourselves to be ready for those challenges.
Because it's a very fluid marketplace, and online acceptance, mobile acceptance of data is going to be very important to face in the next 5 years.
Certainly is. Yes.
Right. A lot of change. Are we as readers likely to see a lot of change in the ODT now that you're at the helm?
Onward and upward, Craig. Yes, indeed. No, there won't be. It'll be evolution rather than revolution. Having been deputy for a considerable time, I've had a hand on a lot of things that have been happening in the ODT. So. Change won't be dramatic, but there will be change. We are currently, and this was initiated by Murray Kirkness, we are looking at the redesign of the newspaper. I wouldn't perhaps go as far as to say a redesign, but we're certainly looking at our delivery and how we present our news. So we're fine-tuning some of that, so you're going to see some changes there, some fine-tuning, and I think we'll be better for it.
Very briefly, what do you hope to achieve as an editor? Very briefly.
What do I hope to achieve as an editor? Tough question. I think continue to grow the ODT's standing and regard in the community. I think that's vital. And prepare the ODT and to move the ODT through delivery across a variety of platforms.
Editor Barry Stewart, congratulations and thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Rape Crisis Dunedin staff say too many local women are living with harassment and they want to change that. Members of the local Myanmar community are raising money to help those affected by devastating floods in their home country. And the City Council is spending more than $80,000 on the replacement of playground equipment. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. Bruce Query.
Good evening. Just quickly, one of the world's largest food companies is making a $40 million bid for a controlling stake in a Dunedin company. The Dunedin City Council is proposing some much stricter rules controlling freedom camping this summer. And finally, in sport, former Otago and Highlanders players will be playing for about 10 different countries in this Rugby World Cup.
Oh, we're everywhere, aren't we? Well done. Thank you so very much, Bruce Query. And on that note, let's have a look at our weather for the weekend.
Proudly brought to you in association with Silberhorn Sportsville.
And starting with today's City View, some circus antics on the Union Lawn. And around the city today, Central City 11, also at the Guardies and out at the Tyree. How lovely. And the situation, a cold southerly dies out to be replaced by an anticyclone which will bring milder northerlies. A weak low pressure system follows on Monday and Tuesday. To the forecast for the main towns for the lower South Island. Invercargill, frost tonight, cool southerlies in 10. Gore, Te Anau, light southerlies in 10. Fine conditions. Alexandra, light winds, fine conditions, 14. Queenstown, Oamaru, Wanaka and Twizel, light sou'westers, otherwise fine, between 13 and 14 degrees. And here in Dunedin tonight, frosts tonight. I said frosts and 5 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly fine, moderate sou'westers. Sunny periods, which will be nice, between 13 degrees and a low of 5. And for Saturday, sunny, light winds, high of 14 and a low of 6. And finally to the Southern Clams tidal and fishing information. High tide tomorrow is at 7:21 a.m. Low tide follows at 2:04 p.m. Fishing conditions are good, best at 4:30. No excuse. And that's all from the good men and women of 39 Dunedin News. On their behalf, I'm Craig Story. Thank you.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.